Oh man, no, he controlled everything, man. He controlled everything. He controlled what I fucking talked about. Like, I wasn't allowed to talk about, Osama bin Laden. I wasn't allowed to talk about Osama bin Laden because he knew more about Osama bin Laden than what I did. And like at the time, you're just living in their ridiculous narrative. You're just living in their narrative. And he was like getting so angry at me for talking about Osama bin Laden. I was like, oh, sorry, babe. I'm so sorry, babe. But you know way more about Osama bin Laden than what I do. And like, look, I don't know if you guys have ever had a fight about Osama bin Laden. But it is truly just fucking ridiculous. But it just got so out of control. It got so fucking out of control. I ended up in a refuge. But I was gaslit. I was so gaslit to an extreme that I thought I was the abusive one. And then I was sitting there in the refuge thinking I was the abusive one. And I was like, but wait a second. If you were the one with your hands around my neck, and I'm here, but I'm here and you're at home, then why am I here? You know? But I'm the abuser. I fucked that one up, whatever. But I didn't know what to tell him, so I told him I was going to a place where abusive women go to learn how not to abuse their partners anymore. And he said, okay, babe, that sounds good. And I told that to the women in the refuge, and they were like, what a dumb cunt. And if a bunch of low socioeconomic, drug-fucked, uneducated women call you a dumb cunt, you're a fucking dumb cunt. Man, they couldn't get their head, no one at the refuge could get no one in the refuge could get their fucking head around my name, Sian. So my name was Shazza. Like, Shazza is my hood name. And that's Shazza MC, brother. And they'd get mad at me. Like, I had this one friend, Jail Mama. She was a sweet girl. They say most domestic violence victims are empaths, but she wasn't much of an empath. Anyway. She'd been in 10 domestic violence relationships in her life, and I was like, at what point do you start to look at yourself? But man, she'd like get angry at me for being untidy, like, because of my ADHD, I'm very untidy, and she'd like get angry at me for being untidy, and I was like, yeah, babe, and you smoke meth while pregnant, so, you know, we all have our fucking faults here. Oh, man. But when I was at the refuge, there was two things that I noticed that all us girls had in common. There were two things that we all had in common. Our dads leaving us, and our mums not knowing to handle when we were in a crisis. Like, my mum is the nicest woman you'll ever meet, but also, like, the most fucking retarded. Like, she's so nice, but she would, but during my childhood, she, invited junkies to come and live with us. Like, just a bunch of fucking junkies. She was like, come live with us. It'll be fun. Like, it's amazing I wasn't sexually abused as a child. It's fucking incredible. Give me that was one way I haven't been abused. I wasn't sexually abused as a child, so I'm not fucked in the head. Anyway, no, we'll talk about that later. No, what was I going to talk about? Wait, where am I? No, but but she sold our childhood house. She sold my childhood house, and she was like, Shan, are you upset that I've sold your childhood home? And I was like, well, Mum, you let fucking junkies fuck prostitutes in my childhood bedroom for the past 5 fucking years, so any sentimentality is surely gone at this point, you know? But she's lovely, but during this whole thing, I was like to her, but Mum, I told you when he raped me, why didn't you tell me to leave him then? She was like, Shan, I forgot. And I understand, forgetting to pick your kid up from fucking preschool or whatever. But she's like a mental health nurse. I think she just hears crazy shit like all the time. She just loses track and she's just like, sure, Sean, everyone was raped in 1950s Ireland. Like, Jesus Christ. No, but I had this thought. During it all, I had this thought when I was sitting in the refuge, and I was like, wait, if they do it once, they do it again, right? And I was like, oh my fucking God, he's done it so many fucking times. And I called the DV hotline, and you're not allowed to swear on the phone to the DV hotline. Yeah, that's pretty posh. Like, they take their domestic violence with some tea and crumpets. But they were like, what did he say to you? And I was like, he always used to say stuff like I can't control myself when I'm around you, I can't resist you. And they were like, Sean, that's coercion. And that's a form of sexual assault. And I was like, holy fucking... And I was like, oi, oi, oi. I thought he was only being physically and emotionally abusive. You mean he was sexually abusing me as well? Oh, Jesus Christ. But he didn't know what he was doing, right? And oh no, they always know what they're doing. I was like, oh, oi, oi, oi. This just makes it so much more horrific. Oh man. And one trauma response that you have to like ongoing sexual abuse, one trauma response you have to that is that you just start cutting your legs ferociously. So while I was in the refuge, I just like couldn't fucking handle it, and I was just like cutting my legs ferociously. And the lady who ran the refuge, she was cleaning up my room one day and packing all my stuff and bringing it to another room, and she was packing up my bag. And she found the razor blade and she was like, what is this for? And I was like, oh, it's just how I've been dealing with 8 years of sexual abuse, and it's the only thing that helps me sleep at night. And then she was like, oh, all right. And she popped it back in the bag with all my stuff to be because her job was to help people, so she was like, well, whatever helps you sleep at night. And but it wasn't all bad. Like in these relationships, like when the times are good, they are so fucking good, man. They are so fucking good. And I always felt like he taught me so much about books and so much about the world around me. And he told me that I taught him so much about feminism. I don't think I taught you anything about feminism. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. Oh man. No, I tell you don't get involved in your DV situation. Fucking social justice warriors. That was where I went so fucking wrong. Holy shit, did I go wrong there. I got a social justice warrior involved, and I was like, whatever you do, you cannot confront him, and you cannot tell anyone. And what did she do? She fucking confronted him. And I had the fucking biggest mental breakdown. I had the biggest breakdown. I couldn't even fucking talk. And I was like, you're gonna have to drive me to hospital because, like, and all I could say was, everyone is so retarded. Everyone is so retarded. And she was like, Sean, you can't say retard. And I was like, bitch, do I have some kind of speech impediment? There is a time and place for political correctness, and the time is not when I'm about to be fucking murdered. Oh man. Jesus Christ. And she was like, we gotta warn other women. And I was like, he's not gonna break into random women's houses and fucking rape them. He's got to get to know them really, really fucking well before he does that. You know? But you don't do that, because then the person, they're more... Ooh. That was one hell of a day. Oh man, you also... Cops, man, you don't get them involved. Like, cops have a pretty high rate of suicide. Like, can I get a round of applause? Yeah, but I get it, I get it. I'd want to kill myself too if sometimes my colleague was a dog. Like, imagine a dog having a higher ranking than you. They're like, sorry mate, we can only trust Buster with this one. But, oh man, but you don't get the cops involved. The cop came up to me and he was like to me, well Sean, why didn't you leave after he sexually assaulted you? And I was like, well, I took a 15-minute breather. I did a little walk around the block, and then I was back for more action. Oh man, but shit was getting so intense, and during it, at one point, I was still gigging at this point. At one point, I was still gigging, and a car, and I had to stop a random car in the middle of the road. That's when you know shit's bad, when it's more safe to fucking stop a car in the middle of the road than it is to go home and get your key card. And I stopped this random car in the middle of the road, and I took it, and I just hitchhiked to a gig one night. And after it, I called my ex-partner, and I was like, because you're just in this never-ending fucking spiral that just goes around and around and around. And we were just talking, and I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, babe, I got in, like, a random car tonight with a random dude. And he was like, Bob, that's really dangerous. Like, only I may rape and bash you. Only you, good sir. Man. And you know those, one time, you know those like lazy hand jobs you give? Like when you're really like cummy fucked? Those fucking lazy hand jobs. I did that once, and he like got really angry at me, and he like smashed my pussy. And I was like, babe, say sorry for that. He was like, well, sorry! It's like, well, excuse me. Well, excuse you, good sir. Man, and then after I left, I split contact with him. I stopped contacting him, and then he started contacting my mum. So that's what these psychopaths do. They start contacting your parents, and he started texting my mum, and he was texting my mum, being like, I don't know why Sian is doing this to me. Like, she's making all these accusations against me. All I've ever tried to do is be a good partner to her. And it's like, yeah, babe, because that weird biting of the face thing and rape are in every classic romantic comedy. Like, Hugh Grant won the Academy Award for Best Rape Scene in Love Actually. Oh, man. But no, like, now I found out that he's fucking this chick I hate. So, like, it's good to know that I don't have to be the one to try choke her out. Have fun, bitch. But man, this shit can happen to anyone. Like I'm a social worker. I'm aware I may come across more as someone who should have one. I do have one. But like people ask me, Sian, like, did you become a social worker because you had a really hard life and you wanted to like change the lives of people around you? But the truth is, I just always really enjoyed being screamed in the face by people coming down off 3-day ice benders. You know, but I'm a social worker, so I understand that these things are a cycle. They're a cycle. And the day he was meant to leave the house, he called me and he was like, I can't leave today because Dad just bashed Mum. And I was like, babe, this really isn't my problem anymore. And he was like, you don't know what it's like! Yeah, I do. I know exactly what it's like, mister. You know? And then he was like, and then when you start telling people, that's the fucking worst part. They hate it when you start telling people. And he was like, you're not telling people why. It's like, it's not about why. And I am telling people why. It's because you were sexually abused as a child and it's made you fucking retarded or some shit. It's like sexual abuse, like childhood sexual abuse makes some men fucking retarded. You know? And also, like, if he didn't want me telling anyone, then maybe he should have thought twice before abusing the world's most extroverted person. Because like, once I work it out, I'm like, anyway, look, I just needed to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
Thank you.